everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Strike Noise, your weekly baseball history podcast. I'm one half of the show. My name is Jeff. The other half, sitting virtually across from me, that is, I almost called you Michael, but no, that is it's not your name. Your name is Mark A. Johnston. Michael A. Johnston is, I don't know who that is, but he's not part of this show. Yeah. Gotta be.
Well, whatever. You can call me whatever name you want. My grandmother had about 8 different names for me. So if you want to call me Michael A. Johnston, don't do it. It's lame. It's good to be here.
I guess your initials are still Madge. So I can call you, I'll just call you Madge.
Right, Major.
No, I'll just call you Madge. Like Madge, wasn't she the
palm olive?
Palm olive dipped your... Wow, we are old. But you know what else is old? This show. This is episode number 250
episodes. We've done this 249 previous times, plus some other random stuff we've done. That's when we first started this, and it doesn't seem that long ago.
No, it doesn't.
We were like, hey, let's just do this and see how it turns out.
We were teenagers when we started this.
That's right.
We would record this on cassette tapes, and we would mail them out to whoever wanted them. This is enough small talk. This is show 250. Let's get on with some baseball talk. What do you say?
250.
All right. Let's get into our BP segment. This is where we warm up so we don't hurt ourselves. And let's do so with some various short things that I found on the internet this week. First of all, Khrush Davis, the good Khrush Davis, Khrush Davis, the short king, Khrush Davis. How about we differentiate him that way? He was 5'11". I guess he still is. I don't think he's grown or
probably
shrunk, but he hasn't played in the major league since 2021. But he has got a new vocation. We talk about this a lot when we do X-Pax Heroes, and so, they're selling homes in Destin, Florida now, or they're doing mortgages in Phoenix, Arizona. Well, Khrush Davis has got a new vocation here. Since he is retired a couple of years ago, he attended the Arizona Automotive Institute and graduated a couple of weeks back, and is preparing... This is so weird to say about Khrush Davis. He is preparing to apply to car dealership and mom and pop shops as a mechanic.
That's amazing.
That's cool because he's a car guy. He loves cars. Right. This is cool. It's something he wants to do. But can you just imagine you're some mom and pop shop and Khrush Davis comes in and they're like, well, I see you haven't been a mechanic here before. You're 36 years old. What have you done with your life? And then you just like pull up your baseball reference page or hand them a baseball card even.
Sure. Yeah. You can have business cards and baseball cards or combine the two.
Yeah. And
some should just say 221 career home runs.
Or just, I hit 247 a lot. It's
a lot.
247. I mean, his rookie year in 2013, he hit 279, but 247 was the highest he hit beyond that.
Yes.
That rookie year. Too bad his lifetime batting average is 242. Too bad it wasn't 247. That would have been pretty cool.
A couple rough seasons in 2019, 2020 where he hit a whole 2021 too. He didn't hit a whole lot.
After the A's signed him to that long-term contract, he didn't. He wasn't Khrush Davis anymore, unless he was in Dallas. That was the only time. He killed the Rangers, just killed them.
Yes.
But good for him. He's a big, like I said, he's a big gearhead, and it's kind of cool. He's doing something he likes, so congratulations.
I think that's cool.
There. Let's see. New trend in baseball cards. This is kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about it just yet, but so you've got baseball cards, right, that have game used artifacts in them, right? What do they call them?
Relics.
Relics. There you go. Thank you for that. So the next evolution of relics, Bobby Witt Jr. and Corbin Carroll wore baseball cards in major league games, stuck them in their uniform pockets or in their hats. I'm not sure exactly where, but they wore these during games, and now they are going in random packs as special giveaways. Truly one of a kinds.
The card has actually played in a major league game.
Yeah, I guess it's not affecting the game in any way. Just, I want to see. Remember Willie Mays? Well, I don't remember. We never watched him play. We're not that old, but his hat would always be a size or two too big. And he did that so that when he ran, it would fly off and give it the impression that he was moving even faster than he actually was. So what if like Corbin Carroll there's a pop-up into shallow left field or something, and he's got to run after it. What if his hat comes off and like 10 baseball cards fly out of his hat while he's running for it? That might be the end of this, but... Well,
it actually could be more valuable.
Because they've been on the field as well. Yeah. And then you could... You know how when people get game-worn uniforms, they like to try and track down through pictures and videos of the game that the uniform they have was actually worn. Maybe they would do that with the baseball cards. They say, there's my card. It's laying right there in the dirt.
Yeah. But just bringing up something random, our friend, the fifth Beatle, Mitch, used to carry in his hat a card of Henry Cotto all the time.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people probably carried Henry Cotto cards around.
He was the choice. He was the number one choice, right?
Yeah.
Why not Henry Cotto?
I remember Henry Cotto because he was on the Yankees when Ricky was. So that's, again, how I know Henry Cotto the most.
I always thought that was an odd choice. Anyway.
Yeah, it is kind of a weird choice. But again, just the evolution of stuff that they're going to sell and people will happily pay for. So that's your thing. Go for it.
I can see those going through the roof.
Yeah. Trevor Bauer. Gosh, I don't like to talk about Trevor Bauer a whole lot, but he is in the Mexican League. Sure, if you follow baseball, you've seen him in the Mexican League. He's trying to get signed and nobody wants him, even though he probably still has some, gas in the tank. The off the field stuff is too much, but he is making content. Speaking of stuff going on during a actual game, he's not wearing cards in his uniform anywhere. He has mic'd himself up and is making content while he is pitching in these Mexican League games.
Why not?
Which it would be interesting if he wasn't such a slime ball. I've watched some of these videos, and he's just got like a little, a Rode Lav mic on him. So he's wearing these during the game, and he edits them together after the game, but he's just talking out loud what pitch is coming. You can also hear the pitch comm, which is kind of interesting. He's just such an... I don't like the guy. Never have. And is he in the same category as Lenny Dykstra? Can we say anything about him without worry of legal repercussions?
I don't know. It's gotten really weird. That whole story has gotten really weird.
Yeah. Why don't we just not talk about him anymore?
At least for now.
Yeah.
I agree.
You can find him on the internet if you want to watch these videos. But you mentioned the fifth Beatle, Mitch, which is kind of weird because there's only two of us. We're like...
Yeah.
Kind of like the Hall & Oates, only they're not on good terms right now. So he's like the third Hall & Oat, I guess. I don't know how to describe that. But
I don't even know where fifth Beatle. That just shot out of my mouth one day. I don't know.
Well, that's a phrase. I've heard it before. I don't think Yoko Ono would be considered the fifth.
No, I don't think they'd vote her in.
No. But Mitch sent this to us, and this is great content, and I am preparing to spend money on this. It's called Field of Dreams Whiskey. Because, frankly, we've dropped a little bit in the whiskey podcast ratings, so we need to get back to that. But
this will help.
This is Field of Dreams whiskey, which is made from corn in the outfield from the Field of Dreams field. I've said field like 8 times now in the last sentence and a half, but very interesting that they're making it from that. But the cool thing is they only make a certain number of bottles. They only make the number of bottles that there have been players in the big leagues.
Yes.
And each bottle is numbered, and you can look up. So their first release was 22,860 bottles. You can look up the player who corresponds to your bottle. So you can't, I guess you can't request one. Otherwise, I would be battling other people for Ricky Henderson and being outbid.
You would be spending way too much money, man, if you were trying to get that.
Ricky Henderson I could not. But I'm very interested. It looks like the new shipment begins to go up for sale on Monday, and I'm going to try and get a bottle. I probably try and get 2 because I might not want to open one of them. I don't know. But I'm excited. One, I like whiskey, but also be kind of cool just to get this random player and see maybe I get Henry Cotto. I don't know. Maybe there's a bidding war for Henry Cotto if I put it up.
Hey, you'd have to trade it to Mitch.
Well, I'm not going to trade it.
You can't sell it on eBay, I don't think.
You can't sell alcohol?
It's alcohol.
Oh, Well, then I'll drink it and just sell the bottle. If you want more of this, I'll put the link in the show notes, but it's drinkfieldofdreams.com. You can find that. And while I'm saying that, we were just talking about Trevor Bauer. Apparently, he and Pitching Ninja are in an online squabble right now about who came up with the term sword.
Okay. I thought it was like a medieval term, but
baseball term, sword. And with the new StatCast metrics that came out this last week, and sword is now an official StatCast category. Pitching Ninja and Trevor Bauer are arguing over who came up with calling those kind of swings swords. And wow, I mean, who doesn't like Pitching Ninja? He's like the nicest guy. He does stuff for charity. He's got everybody on it. And Trevor Bauer's trying to pick a fight with him. It's like going hard after Tom Hanks or somebody like that. Man, what an idiot. Again, why are we talking about him? Let's get on to some other stuff.
Moving on.
Another Seinfeld bobblehead. They can't get enough of them, I guess, this year. Let's see. We talked about what was the first one was Costanza when he was helping Derek Jeter and
the Yankees
with the swing
assistant to the traveling secretary.
Yeah. Oh wait, no. This is I'm sorry. This isn't a Mets. This is a Yankees giveaway. They're giving away George Costanza, marine biologist bobblehead, and it is him sitting on top of a whale holding a golf ball.
That is awesome.
That is great. Now, I read something non-baseball related about this episode that the golf ball in the blowhole was not in the original script. Jerry
I read that.
And Larry David came up with that like the day they were filming it and rewrote it quickly and handed that whole soliloquy to Jason Alexander. And he went off for like 10, 15 minutes, came back, and that's the performance. And if you look, you can see Jerry in the booth there, just his mouth is a gasp. And he said, well, it worked because it looked like I was shocked by the story, but we were all in awe that Jason Alexander had literally just been handed this speech, went and read through it a couple of times, and then gave that performance.
He's a professional. Man, I'll tell you what.
It's a great story all around.
The sea was angry that day, my friend.
The sea was angry. Let's see. I saw this on social media. The question was, what is the worst idea you can come up with for reducing pitcher injuries? The worst idea. So some of them were just awful and dumb, but some of these read like, remember the David Letterman top 10 lists? When he would do baseball stuff, it was always great. And some of these
great stuff.
Some of these reminded me of this. Some people, their ideas were move the mound to 30 feet, 3 inches away so they'll have to throw half as hard, which good idea. Hitting the batter, now a strike. I don't know how that's going to help, but pitchers must use chuckets. Do you know what a chucket is?
I do.
If you're a dog owner, you know what a chucket is. It's this long plastic stick with a holder on the end. It's like almost like a slingshot kind of thing. You put a tennis ball in there and then you just flick your wrist and you can throw the ball really far with it. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, the chucket, that would add a whole new level.
Yeah. Pitching machines were mentioned, but nobody brought up hitting off tees, which would have been my suggestion.
That's a great idea. That would make the whole position of pitcher just a purely defensive position.
Greg Maddux could back in the league.
Oh, absolutely.
How about one of those machines? Not really a machine. It was a toy, at least from my youth, where you would stomp on the pedal and a little plastic ball would like shoot up and then you swing at it.
Hack at it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Or I thought of this. What if the batter just holds the ball and throws it up in the air and then they got to swing at it? You know, like when you didn't have friends and you wanted to hit the ball, that might be how you do it. But you only get one shot at that. Right. If you swing and miss, you're out. Really cut down on hit by pitches.
When I used to do that, I was a much better pitcher than hitter.
Yeah, me too. It's not easy to throw a ball up because you got to throw it up high if you really want time to get ready, and that makes it harder. You got one hand on the ball, the other on the bat. You got to throw and then get your grip, and it's hard. Not gonna lie.
No, really, it's not. You can't really get a good hack off on one of those things.
No, it will cut down on hit by pitches, I think, though. Quite a bit.
Definitely.
And you don't need to wear elbow guards and all the armor anymore either.
That's true too.
That way.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Debuts. Mark, this show is debuting on May 17th. I've got some debuts here. First of all, 1937, we've talked about this guy before, but when you got a name like Boots Puffenberger, we're going to talk about you again. Mm-hmm. So if you remember, I don't remember what, I think it was episode 197 I looked up. It might be where we talked about Boots Puffenberger just because of the name. It had to have been earlier than that, but he was a pitcher, wasn't very reliable. His nickname was Duke of the Duckout. He just didn't show up to the games sometimes. Big drinker, did not ingratiate himself to ownership by not showing up and drinking a lot. One time, we mentioned this in the episode, but I'm just going to go through it again. In 1937, he called for room service, which I didn't even know they had in 1937, but he just said, I'll have the breakfast of champions. So the person thought maybe they wanted some Wheaties, and he goes, no, 2 fried eggs and a bottle of beer.
Oh.
But remember, this guy was sponsored by, and I believe it was Wheaties. He was supposed to come down into the lobby one day and just record this quick thing. They say, hey, Boots, what's your favorite breakfast? You know, what is it? He's supposed to say the name of the cereal. But he again went with ham, eggs, and 2 bottles of beer. So he
moved up to 2.
Also, Christopher Lloyd portrayed a character named Dr. Cletus Poffenberger on the TV series Tremor.
Oh, really?
And Boots' real first name was Cletus, so I have to assume that it was.
Oh, sure.
It was named after.
If my name was Cletus, I might go by
Boots
as well. And
yeah.
Not that if your name is Cletus and you listen to the show, I like your name. You're fine.
But unless your last name's Poofenberger, then
you kind of we're kind of in the middle on that one.
Yeah. Also making his debut today, 1950, Vern Law, who we've spoken with his son. I was going to say Hall of Famer, not quite Hall of Famer, but former major leaguer himself, Vance Law. Vern Law, pitcher for the Pirates. He was on the Pirates teams where Bing Crosby was part of owner, and Bill Mazeroski and all those guys. But so he made his debut today in 1950. Also, a guy in 1978 could have been my stepfather. Mike Morgan made his debut 1978. But he came up with Oakland in 1978. Good for him. And our final debut in 2013, Garrett Cole made his debut. Just say that because Garrett Cole, I don't know if he's on a trajectory if he can keep it up to maybe be a Hall of Famer.
He's got to stay healthy.
He's got to stay healthy and pitch for a bit more. But those are our debuts for today, May 17th. Mark, let's get into the main segment of the show. Like I said, this is show number 250. We've done obviously 249 of these, most of which were on purpose. So I thought we would celebrate here with some 250. Instead of just a list of 250, we're going to do some 250 things here that go along with show number 250. All right. So I wanted to break down the number 250. I wanted to look at the best players since nobody's actually worn the jersey number 250. The players that wore some of those numbers. So player that wore number 0, because we're going to start at the end. The player with the highest career WAR that ever wore number 0, Al Oliver. And I bet you'll never guess why he wore number 0.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No clue whatsoever.
The other guys on this list, Oscar Gamble, Adam Ottavino, Oda B. McDowell, Ray Ordonez, a lot of them. We've gone through all this. I can't forget Junior Ortiz. But Al Oliver wore number 0 for 8 years during his career and ended up with a 43.7 WAR. Next, we're going to go with the number 2. Who do you think that wore number 2 has the highest career WAR?
Derek Jeter?
Close. Charlie Gehringer. Jeter wore number 2 his entire career for 20 years. Gehringer wore number 2 for 11 out of the 12 years. That first, his rookie season, he just played a couple of games he didn't. But he ended up with an 84.7 WAR compared to Jeter's 71.3. So the mechanical man who was a good defender.
Yes.
Which is why his WAR is higher than Jeter's. Not as good a hitter, but a good defender, yes. Let's see here. Number 5. Can you think of anybody that's worn number 5? Once I tell you some of these names, you'll know, but
the Nothing comes to mind.
Well, first of all, Henry Aaron wore number 5 for 1 year, but we're going to disqualify him and Mel Ott because he only wore 1 year. Albert Pujols has the highest career WAR of somebody that wore 5 throughout most of their career at 101.4. Also, Adrian Beltre, but he only wore it with the Mariners.
Yes.
That was the only year he wore it. George Brett, maybe you've heard of him.
Yes.
88.6. Then you got Jeff Bagwell. Joe DiMaggio wore it for a part of his career. Brooks Robinson. Popular number 5. Some really good. So. Just look at a lot of Hall of Famers. Luke Appling, Johnny Bench, Goose Goslin, Gary Sheffield. Sheff only wore it for 1 year. John Olerud. Freddie Freeman is currently wearing it. There's a lot of really good guys that wore number 5 for quite a while. Let's see. Now going a little bit more abstract here. Number 25. This
Mark McGwire.
That was my first thought too. But in terms of overall career WAR, the guy that wore 25, he wore it for 15 years out of his 22-year career, and that's Barry Bonds.
Oh yeah, he could hit.
Yeah. So 162.8. Ricky Henderson did wear number 25 his final year with the Dodgers, but we're not going to count that. Jim Thome wore it for 21 years. Rafael Palmeiro for 20. Buddy Bell. Tommy John wore it for 24 years. McGuire for 16. Andrew Jones. Bobby Bonds also wore number 25. Jose Cruz. Norm Cash. A lot of really good names with a lot of good careers there. And then finally, number 50. This one's going to be a little bit harder. So anybody, give me any number 50 you can think of off the top of your head.
McCullers Jr. That's the only one I can come up with.
Let's see. I don't see Lance McCullers. I see Lance McCullers Sr. wore it for 1 year with the Padres.
Ryan Stanek.
Well, you're just giving me current Mariners players now.
No, I'm going with Astros that I know.
Let's see. Mookie Betts has worn number 50. He is the career leader. Still out on the course, though, with a 68.2. Jamie Moyer wore number 50 for 16 of his 743 years in baseball.
Right.
Adam Wainwright, I think he just retired last year, right? He wore it for 17 years with a 45.2. Sid Fernandez wore it for 15 years. There's a good name. Tom Hankey, J.R. Richard. If you're playing MLB The Show, those two guys you're probably using right now. Yeah. Not as many guys wore number 50 for as long. Those are your career WAR numbers. Now, I wanted to look up and see for Ricky Henderson, what numbers does he have that equal 250? And out of all of those numbers, he's got 1. His career batting average in ALDS, American League Division Series, is 250. That's it. So
I would have guessed that.
Yeah, right. So I said, okay, well, let's see what Nolan Ryan has got, right? So he's got 2 things. First of all, in 1982, he pitched 250.3 in a third innings. I'm gonna round down to 250. But Nolan Ryan also has a career 250 batting average in National League Division Series. So.
Wow, so he was 1 for 4. Okay.
And he walked in that series too.
Well, you can't pitch to everyone.
Well, once he ripped that probably like an infield single that he beat out that could have possibly been an error, they're like, we're going to walk him next time.
Absolutely. Some guys just, always have the green light. You got to pitch around them.
Let's see. Hall of Famers that have 250. Again, I'm looking for any stat that they had 250, whether it be in a season or for their career. And I was shocked that this is not a very common number when doing this. No Hall of Famer has exactly 250 home runs.
No.
Not a single one. Only Buck Ewing has 250 career doubles in terms of Hall of Famers. In terms of on-base percentage, only one Hall of Famer has a 250 on-base percentage, which is not good, and that's John Clarkson. But I think he's in the Hall of Fame for hosting Top Gear more than his time on the field.
Right.
Because that's him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. 250 career intentional walks. Only one Hall of Famer. Vladimir Guerrero Sr. I guess I don't need to say senior because I said Hall of Famer. Also, Vlad Sr., I just said it again because I'm going to do that now. The 200,
man, it's a habit.
The 250th player inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
So he's the 250th inducted. He's got 250 career intentional walks, 250 career losses. Bert Blyleven.
Okay.
So there's that. And then Jake Beckley, he's in the Hall of Fame. His career whip is 2.500. That's not good. That's not good at all.
Wow.
Jake Beckley, I'm not familiar with off the top of my head. So looking at him here, because that's an awful whip, he was a first baseman. So he just happened to throw one game in his entire career. He went 4 innings, gave up 9 hits, 8 runs, 3 of which were earned. He did strike out 2 guys, though.
Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't all his fault if only 3 were earned.
Yeah. Overall, for his career with the bat, he's a .308 hitter. Let's see. He's got 87 career home runs, but he played from 1888 through 1907. Led only one piece of black ink on his entire 20-year career. In 1890, he led the league with 22 triples. That is legitimately it.
Here's something else about him. He's career 308 hitter. That's exactly 58 points above 250.
Wow, that math degree.
I love mathematics.
Yeah, that's really kind of.
I try not to do it though.
Let's see here. And that led me down a little bit. Or let me get back to it. The highest ERA plus of a Hall of Famer. I give you 249 guesses, and you would not get this.
It's not Jack Morris?
It's not Jack Morris. It is.
I have no idea. I don't want to make 249 guesses. That would slow things down a little.
Yeah, that would make for a pretty long episode. It is none other than Double X himself, Jimmy Fox. Again,
no kidding.
Hall of Fame first baseman. But he likewise pitched. He pitched twice in his career, 1939 and 1945. In 1945, he appeared in 9 games on the mound.
No way.
Ended up with a 1.59 ERA that year. He started 2 games, pitched 22 and 2/3 innings, gave up 13 hits, only 4 earned runs. He walked 14. He struck out 10.
Wow. Well, he walked 14. He was pitching around, guys.
Probably do some double plays. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
must have.
The other year that he pitched, he only appeared in 1 game and had a perfect inning, struck out 1. So his career ERA is only 1.52. And that is an ERA plus of 261, which is almost 250. But that is the highest Hall of Fame ERA plus.
That is funny.
So looking at that led me, I was looking at list of Hall of Fame pitchers and something else caught my eye here. That is another Hall of Famer who is not a pitcher that somehow in his career, let's see, he pitched 49 games, and that's Cool Papa Bell.
Oh, wow. No kidding. 49
games he pitched. He started 30 of them. 21 of them were complete games, including 1 shutout. He threw 309 and 2/3 innings, gave up 337 hits, 156 earned runs. He walked 94. He struck out 146. And that is good for an ERA plus of 98. So he was basically a league average pitcher.
Wow.
But
what a guy.
Obviously not a pitcher. He was so fast he could throw a pitch and catch it.
That's right.
They didn't need a catcher when he was on the mound. But that was, Cool Papa Bell's obviously one of my guys.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, total legend.
I had no idea he pitched, let alone that many times.
Mr. James Thomas Bell.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. That was a bit of an athlete, I think.
You think? Let's see. FYI, currently there is not a single player, as we record this, in the entire history of Major League Baseball with 250 career home runs exactly. Eugenio Suarez, though, has 249, and Marcell Ozuna has 248. So I'm guessing they'll get there and probably not end there, but they'll get there soon.
Yeah, it'll be an enjoyable moment.
Yeah, I just think that's probably make an announcement when that happens. There are currently 11 players in the history of Major League Baseball that have played in exactly 250 career games. Only one of which is active, and that's Andy Ibanez. So he's probably going to not
remain there.
Of the other guys who are never going to play any more games, so they've ended up with exactly 250 career games, is none other than our pal Toad Ramsey.
Oh, nice.
Toad Ramsey. We did a whole episode on him. Maybe that was episode 190. Yeah, episode 194. Toad Ramsey, pitcher, enjoyer of the drink, and victim of a farm accident in his youth. So, he's good.
Most pitchers were.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. He was also on the Louisville Colonels, where our guy, Chicken Wolf was on there, but Pete Browning, the Gladiator, was there. Yeah. Which we always like to talk about. But Toad Ramsey, 1986. How about 1886? He went 38-27 with 66 complete games, 588 and 2/3 innings pitched.
Wow.
Jeez, 207 walks. That sounds like a lot, but he threw 600 innings almost.
Right?
499 strikeouts. Man. That is just, you would think his arm would have fallen off, but no, the next season he went 37-27. So he lost one, he didn't win as many games. He won 38 versus 37, but lost 27, the same as before. 61 complete games and 561 innings pitched.
Goodness gracious. These guys, they had to just be in constant pain, and there wasn't even any Advil.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He cut down on the walks that second year. He only 167 walks. He cut down on strikeouts, awesome. Though. He went from 499 to 355.
Well, because he went from throwing 80 miles an hour to 72. When you throw 500 innings.
He was concentrating on control.
That's it.
Of course, this is when they pitched from a flat surface in a box, and the batter got to tell him where to throw it. But still, that's a lot of pitching for Toad Ramsey. Let's see here. Some other things here. 250 career hits. We're not looking at Hall of Famers anymore. Just 250 career hits. There were a couple of them, but Sam Horn is there.
Okay.
250 career hits, 323 career strikeouts. I wonder how many of those were Horns of Plenty, or whatever they were called.
Oh, yeah. That could be.
Let's see, 250 career stolen bases exactly. I would have never guessed. I thought Harold Reynolds had more than that.
Oh, really?
But yeah, 250. 250.
Did he steal like 70 in one season?
Just one. That was it, though. And Ricky would have had that at the All-Star break, according to Ricky.
That's right. He said so himself.
Henderson here. I love that story. Let's see. 33 career guys have a ERA of exactly 250 at the time of our recording here. Some of them are still playing. Some of the names here that I wanted to mention, because there are some guys here that we've talked about before. Doug Jones, Al Albuquerque, one of my favorite names. A couple of guys that are still playing. Denny Riddlenberger. I've never heard of him. But
Riddleberger. Riddleberger. Okay. It's just a very small burger. Riddleberger.
Bob Feller's got a career ERA of 250. Okay. Jack Russell, who the Terriers were named after.
Nice.
I'm making that up. Good. Martin DeHigo. There is definitely a Negro League legend there. Rube Marquardt. Let's see. Also, we've talked about him a ton. Also with that 250. Oh, yeah. A bunch of guys there that at least it's better than the career 250 strikeouts or hits, whatever Sam Horn had. Players that weighed 250 pounds. Exactly. Obviously weight fluctuates, but some names here. Jim Thome at one point weighed 250. Ryan Howard, guessing that was when he was a rookie, weighed 250. Jose Abreu and Jack Cust. Jack Cust, okay. Athletics legend. Had like 2 good years, and then the Mariners signed him because of those good years, and he didn't do anything there. One other 250 that I wanted to mention, the Los Angeles Coliseum, a place clearly was not built with baseball in mind, yet they did host the Los Angeles Angels there for 4 years. And in order to wedge a baseball field into the Coliseum, which, by the way, was built to seat 90,000 people to host the 1932 Olympics, But to wedge that into the Coliseum, the left field fence was just 250 feet from home plate.
Wow.
That was short. They eventually put a very tall screen there on left field to add, so you couldn't just, pop up home runs. There you go. That's our celebration of 250 stuff.
Very nice.
All right. So that's going to wrap up the middle segment of the show. We are going to go into a special edition of Wax Packs Heroes. Now, Mark, we've mentioned this name before. One of our longtime listeners. We've both met him. We both met him last year when he was touring ballparks. And usually he's sending us stuff telling us that we're idiots and that we've done something wrong or said something horribly wrong during one of the before 249 podcasts that we've done. But this week, Marshall, our longtime listener, has given us a very special virtual edition of some Wax Packs cards for us we can't open them up because they're virtual, but he has curated some Wax Packs cards here for us to play Wax Packs Heroes with. So we will tell you how that's going to work. But first, we spent a lot of money about 220 episodes ago to get this theme done that is still on the charts. So let's go ahead and play that first. Wax Pack Heroes! Gotta pull a Wax Pack Hero. Got stars in his eyes. Wax Pack Hero. On the podcast tonight. If you're new here, this is how we play Wax Packs Heroes. We open up some Wax Packs. So we're going to do it virtually here. And what we do is we will take the baseball reference WAR of the year of the card, which these are mixed, so it's not just 1 year, but we'll tell you what year each time. And we're going to take a look at the cards. On the cards, if there is any kind of what we call 80s baseball aesthetics, that can add to that baseball reference WAR that we will be calculating. Anything like real stirrups or a mustache or glasses, whether they be flipped down or science teacher or a mustache or eye black or Brady Anderson sideburns or a mustache. All of that, you can get an extra 1/10 of a point. If it's a really good mustache like Keith Hernandez, Wade Boggs, we might even give you a bonus 1/10 of a point on top of that. But if we see those 2-and-1s, which we don't like, that is a minus 1/10 of a point. Any awards won in the year of the card by the person on the card, that means Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, All-Star, if they were a Gold Glove, that's an extra 1/2 a point for each of those. If there is a Hall of Famer on the card, whether they are in focus or not, that is a whole extra point. If there is a Ricky Henderson or a Nolan Ryan, which I don't know, he might have stuck those in here, I don't know, excited to see. But if Ricky shows up, regardless of who pulls it, I win that round. If Nolan shows up, regardless of who pulls it, Mark wins that round. We're going head to head, if I didn't make that clear with each card. And any pop culture references that we can easily find, that is extra 1/2 a point for each, unless it's Seinfeld, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or The Simpsons, then you get a whole extra point of WAR. And if they were suspended or listed on the Mitchell Report during their career, that is a minus 1/2 a point. So, Mark, I have got a spreadsheet here with links to these cards. So I do not know what these cards are, but he has created for us 18 cards, which is what we need in case we go the distance here. So we've got a number 1 through 18, Mark, here. What I am going to do is, because I don't know how he's done this, I don't know if he knows one side is going to win versus the other. What we're going to do is I'm just going to have you randomly pick a number between 1 and 18, and I will pull up that card for you, and that will be your card, and then I'll have you pick for me too, just so that we can make sure this is on the up and up. But again, Marshall, thank you very much. We're going to try and get this, we're going to figure out an easy way to do this so that maybe other listeners can do this and not have to actually send us something. They can just do it virtually like this. But Mark, if we look on the scoreboard right now, you are leading 2-1. I had a big win last week from my first of the season, and now they're going to flow like water or wine, whatever the phrase is.
There you go.
All right. So, Mark, numbers 1 through 18, go ahead and give me one.
Let's go with 3.
Number 3. All right. So this is going to be your first card because I'm the champ. I get to go last. This is a 1987 Topps. And so I'm going to click on this link, and that is going to open up, and that is our buddy Teddy Higuera with the Milwaukee Brewers. He is staring pensively on the top step of a dugout with his arms crossed. I am going to say this might be an 80s baseball aesthetic because the Brewers uniforms were pullover jerseys at this point.
Oh, yeah.
But so we're going to look up Teddy Higuera, and this is 1987. My favorite year of Topps with the wood borders.
Yes, the wood border one.
I think a lot of people like that set. But let's see, 1987 with the Brewers, 18-10 with a 3.85 ERA, 35 games started, 261 innings. 14 complete games, 3 shutouts. Wow. Got votes for the Cy Young. 261 innings pitched, 236 hits, 240 strikeouts, a 119 ERA plus. Wow, Teddy Higuera's career ERA plus was 117.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive. He had a short career, but when he was good, he was good. Let's see, all of that will equal a WAR of 6.3. I wonder if these are going to be really high scores. Let's see, 6.3 there. Nothing on. Well, I'm going to give you a 1/10 of a point for the pullover jersey. And the fact that
that's cool.
It looks like he's wearing it during BP, which is kind of odd. Let's see. His 20-win season in 1986 was the first 20-win season by a Mexican-born pitcher in the American League.
Oh, wow.
He was struck out in the All-Star game by Fernando Valenzuela. Why is Teddy Higuera getting an at-bat in the All-Star game?
That's interesting.
Suffered some back and ankle injuries, and that started his decline. Then a torn rotator cuff. And let's see, inducted into the Mexican Professional Baseball Hall of Fame.
Well, that's close.
Also was a pitching coach for 3 different WBC Mexican teams.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so that's good. Good card for you. 6.4 is going to be your score there. All right, so I'm going to have you pick now a number between 1 and 17, and that'll be my card.
Okay, how about 2?
All right, number 2. Well, I like this because they get the Seinfeld bonus right there. It's with your Seattle Mariners. It's Danny Tartabull.
Oh, nice.
I think he was in 2 episodes, right?
Yes, he was.
Do I get 2 bonuses for that?
Absolutely not.
Overall, 14 years in the big leagues, 5 with the Royals, 2 with the Yankees, then 3 with your Seattle Mariners, and then 1 apiece for the Phillies, the White Sox, and my Oakland Athletics. Let's see, what year are we looking at here? I forgot to look at 1987. So with the Royals that year, 158 games, 309 batting average, 390 on base. Wow. 930 OPS for a 142 OPS plus, 34 home runs, 101 RBI, 9 stolen bases, and MVP votes. I like this. I got to beat a 6.4. And let's see. Where's WAR here? Wow. All of those numbers that I just read you, and that is good for a WAR of 2.2.
What?
2.2. Defensively, I'm guessing not a whole lot to talk about with Danny Tartabull. Let's see, though. We do know that he was on Seinfeld, so that'll be 3.2. He was in the episode The Chaperone and The Pledge Drive.
That's right.
I mean, was that a supersized episode and then they cut it into 2?
It might have been. No, he was in the episode where George thought the guy in the other car flipped him off, but he just had a broken finger. Yeah,
but I thought he was the chaperone. He was going to pick him up to drive him to the studio of The Pledge Drive. But I could be confused there. But he was also in the episode during the 1994 work stoppage of Married with Children.
Oh, wow.
So
that is another point.
Yeah, so I'll get 1.5 points of pop culture. But that's still not enough. That's
strange.
Yeah. Let's see. A warrant was issued for his arrest after he failed to appear and was on the most wanted for Los Angeles County Child Services. So he's a deadbeat dad.
Great.
Yeah. But that's not a minus for me. But regardless, you are up 1-0.
Yes.
All right. So you're up 1 card to nothing. Let's go here. Give me a number that is not 2 or 3 between 1 and 18.
17.
17. All right. So that is going to be your second card is with the Giants. It is Kevin Mitchell.
Okay.
Your favorite outfield catch.
Yes, my Mr. Defense.
Now, I did see something recently because I've been reading about Kevin Mitchell. He got a bum rap about this whole being in a gang and being a jerk and stuff. He got a real bad rap.
Yeah.
But I did read something recently that he admitted he overran the ball. Ed was lucky to make that catch.
That's funny.
But let's see, Kevin Mitchell, overall 13 years in the big leagues, 5 with the Giants, 3 with the Reds, 2 with the Mets, and then 1 apiece for Oakland, the Red Sox, the Padres, Cleveland, and your Seattle Mariners. Let's see, this card is 1991. With the Giants that year, 113 games. He hit 256, 338 on base, 27 home runs, 69 RBI, and a 141 OPS plus. And that is good for a WAR of 2.7.
Okay, I got a shot.
Nothing on this card is going to help you out. It is literally a head and shoulders shot. He is wearing one of those like plastic baggy type things. Should that be? I don't know. That could be a 80s baseball aesthetic.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I mean, I think we got to. He's trying to cut weight here, I think.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna give it to you. So that'll be a 2.8 for you. Let's see here. Won a World Series with the Mets. He was on that 86 Mets team. Then went to the World Series in 89 with the Giants, where they lost to my Oakland Athletics.
That's right.
Let's see. He was traded by the Mets with Kevin Brown, Sean Abner, and Stan Jefferson for Kevin McReynolds, essentially. Then he was traded by the Padres with former guest Dave Dravecky and Craig Def Lefferts to the Giants for Keith Comstock. He of the Comstock Law lineage, Mark Davis and Mark Grant. Also traded for Dave Burba, Michael Jackson, and Bill Swift, and Norm Charlton, the sheriff, at one point.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see. Anything else here going to help you out? Well, he played water polo. Well, he claimed to have played water polo. That's all it says in high school. Oh, Gary Carter gave him the nickname World for his ability to play infield and outfield. Yeah. Never wore a cup. And he responded, I couldn't find one big enough for my junk.
Oh, boy.
I mean, come on. If anybody asks any guy that question, that's going to be the response. So,
yeah,
come on now. We're not going to talk about what's happened to him off the field.
Nah.
There's been some arrests. Nothing, though, that's going to cut down on his WAR. So let's see. You got the baseball aesthetic and the WAR, and that's going to be a 2.8 for you. All right?
Okay. Yeah.
Give me another number between 1 and 18.
12.
All right. So this is my lucky number. 1989 Donruss Fernando Valenzuela.
Ooh, that could be decent.
Let's see. 1989. I kind of feel like he was past his prime at that point.
He may have been. Yeah.
At age 28. But yes, he was past his prime. Although he went on to pitch for another 8 years. 10-13 with the Dodgers, 3.43 ERA, 31 games, 196 innings, 185 hits given up, 116 strikeouts for a 100 even ERA. Wow. Rookie of the Year and Cy Young in the same year, 1981. That's just so impressive. Let's see. Overall, that will be a WAR of 1.3. Let's see. So I know, well, let's look at some other superlatives here first. World Series, 1981, World Series champ. Did not sing We Are the Champions, thankfully. Was not included in that. Overall, in the World Series, 1-0. 1 game, 4-point ERA. Complete game. 9 innings pitched, 9 hits, 4 runs. 7 walks and 6 strikeouts. But he's still got a complete game. Win. Different age.
Yeah.
Never traded during his career. Oh, no, he was. His final year in 1997, he was traded by the Padres, the Scott Livingstone, I presume, and Phil Plantier to the Cardinals for Mike Sweeney and Danny Jackson. Besides that, never traded. He was purchased with Rick Renteria from a Mexican league in 92, but just signed and released all the other times.
This is kind of cool. Valenzuela became a U.S. citizen on July 22nd, 2015, at a ceremony in downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah, congratulations.
It's awesome.
Let's see here. Now, we gotta think of some. I gotta beat this 2.8, so we need to think of some pop culture here. Now, Fernando Mania, I think, counts as pop culture. I mean, that was a big deal. That was a big deal. Also, I like this. In Dodger Stadium, when he would pitch, they would play ABBA's song Fernando when he took them out.
That's freaking brilliant.
Nicknamed El Toro. It's a great nickname. And one thing I want to know, we've gone over this before. His jacket made an appearance in an episode of Chips when Tommy Lasorda got pulled over and he was wearing Fernando's jacket and he didn't have any ID on him. And he's like, I'm Tommy Lasorda. And Ponch is like, but the back of your jacket says Valenzuela.
You think half because Fernando himself wasn't on there, but I think it's fair enough for the jersey and the mention to give you half.
So like 0.25?
Yes. Well, we'll go with 0.3. We'll round up.
0.3. Okay, so that plus the Fernando, so that'll be 0.8 extra. And then...
Well, being the East Los Angeles Christmas Parade's Grand Marshal.
No, I don't think that's...
Wait a minute. I was the East Los Angeles Christmas Parade's Grand Marshal one year.
Well,
so never mind.
I don't believe you on that. So he had a 1.3 WAR, and then I don't know that this is going to make it there. What I say, a 0.8 addition to that. So that would be a 2.1, and there's nothing on this card. Oh, no, he's got real stirrups. That's still not enough. All right.
Enough.
All right, so you got that one. Barely. By the skin of your teeth, you got that one.
That's right. I'll take it.
All right, give me another number.
Let's go with 4.
All right, so your third card, you're up 2-0. Your third card is from 1987. It's Eric King. I'm interested to see why this was included.
Eric King.
We've had him before. Let's see. Overall, 7 years in the big leagues, 4 with Detroit, 2 with the White Sox, 1 with Cleveland. Let's see. I said this was 1980. That year, you went 6-9 with the Tigers with a 4.89 ERA, a 116 innings pitched, 111 hits, given up 89 strikeouts, an 87 ERA plus, and a WAR of -0.2. I like this. I don't know why it's in here. Nothing on this card is going to help you out either. It's just a head and shoulders shot here of Eric. Let's see. Overall, in the big leagues, was traded with Matt Noakes to the Tigers for Senor Smoke, Juan Berenguer, and Bob Melvin.
Well, that's interesting, actually. Those are some names.
Also traded for Corey Snyder at one point.
Nice.
Let's see. You can get any sort. Yeah, there's nothing here for you.
What about giving up Ken Griffey Jr.'s first big league home run?
No.
Okay.
It's not gonna get you any points. Who gave up Ken Griffey Jr.'s first hit?
That's a good question. I don't know.
It's Dave Stewart.
Oh, okay.
All right. So you're at a -0.2 there on that one. I'm feeling confident with this one. I don't. If he's putting Eric King in here, I don't know what I'm going to get. Give me another number.
Let's go with 7.
This will be a 1988. Well, 1988 Ernie Witt.
Oh wow, Ernie.
Let's see here. 1988 Ernie Witt with Toronto, 36 years old. Still appeared in 127 games. Everyday catcher at 36. Good for him. 251 average, 348 on base. Not too bad for a catcher. 16 home runs, 70 RBI, 4 stolen bases. Not bad. 112 OPS plus for Ernie in 1988, and that is good for a WAR of 2.8. I'm just going to chalk up my win right there.
Wow.
I don't think Ernie Witt was on the Mitchell report at any point.
I don't think so.
Let's see. Was traded for Ricky Trilasek at one point, who we've had recently.
Trilasek. We just talked about that guy.
Yeah, I remember that name. Not to be confused with a trilobite. Those are different things.
Very different, yes.
Let's see. We've talked about Ernie before. He's coached in the WBC, invested and was part owner of Mother's Pizza in Southern Ontario in 1983.
Yeah, but everybody knew that.
The chain went bankrupt in 1992. There was an Ernie Witt special pizza on the menu. It doesn't tell you. How does it not tell you what was on the Ernie Witt special pizza?
Yeah, come on. We need to know this.
Let's see. I'm doing a Google search. Okay, now I don't know if this is real or not. This is doing a search for the Ernie Witt special pizza. I got this thing that says Ernie Witt golf joke / story. Is it real? And this has happened a while ago, obviously, when Ernie Witt is he's in a charity golf tournament and his golf clubs didn't arrive on time. So he has to go rent a set from the pro shop. He goes out there, plays, ends up 3 over. He shoots a 75. That's really good. This is a tough course. And he is complaining about how he played and that if he had his own clubs, he would have shot in the 60s easy. So the pro there at the course goes over and says, hey, what was the clubs bad? Or he says, no, He says, were they broken? Anything wrong with the clubs? Why are you complaining? He says, no. And he says, the pro says, well, what was the problem? Why are your clubs so special that you didn't like these? And Ernie says, I'm left-handed. I don't know.
That'll make a difference. Yeah.
Kind of sounds like a Ricky Henderson story, but until somebody can refute it, I like this. I still want to know what the heck's on a pizza, Ernie Witt pizza, but.
Yeah, seriously, me too.
All right. So that's good for me. Good news for me. I win that round. It is 2-1. Go ahead and give me another number.
Let's go with 14.
All right. That is going to get you a 1989 Jack Morris, your favorite player.
Hey, there we go. Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You get the Hall of Fame right there. I bet he put that in there just because he knows what a big Jack Morris fan you are.
I'm sure.
Jack Morris, BYU. Went to BYU. I remember when I talked about Vern Law earlier in the debuts, he coached Jack Morris at BYU.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My memory works sometimes. 18 years in the big leagues, 14 with Detroit, 2 with Toronto, and then 1 for Minnesota, 1 with Cleveland. This card that we are looking at is 1989. He was with Detroit. Oh, not good news for you. 6-14 this year.
Ouch.
With a 4.86 ERA, 170 innings pitched, 189 hits, 115 strikeouts, a 79 ERA plus. And that will equal a WAR of minus 0.1. Now, he is a Hall of Famer, though. So you'll get a positive 1 on that. That'll bring you up to 0.9. Nothing. I mean, unless we're counting mullets. Do we count a mullet? That's an 80s baseball aesthetic.
That's gotta be. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll give you a 1/10 of a point here on the mullet on this card, but you can't see stirrups or anything. Looks like Wally Joyner is leading off on first base in the background, though, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
But not a Hall of Famer, so you don't get credit there on that. Let's see. In the postseason, 3 World Series rings for Jack Morris. 84 with the Tigers, 91 and 91 with the Twins, where he was the World Series MVP, and 92 with the Blue Jays. Never traded. Another one of those guys. It's so weird when they play that long and never been traded.
Sure. He did play for the St. Paul Saints when he was 41. Did quite well. 5-1 with the 2.69 ERA.
Nice. Oh, let's say, of course, the culturally insensitive comments about Shohei Ohtani in 2021. But, I love Kirk Gibson as a player, even though he did what he did to the A's. But I can't stand Kirk Gibson's voice as an announcer. Same with Jack Morris. And they were both on the Tigers broadcast at once. That's just like, that's tough. Let's see, though. You're at 1.0, though, for Jack Morris. So go ahead and give me another number.
How about 6?
All right. 1988 Frank Williams with the Reds.
Okay. Never mind. I don't want to do 6.
Well, this is my card, so I think
6 is good.
Let's see. Frank Williams, first of all, 6 years in the big leagues. 3 with the Giants, 2 with Cincinnati, 1 with Detroit. We are looking at the 1988 version here with the Reds. He went 3-2 with a 2.59 ERA in 60 games out of the bullpen. 1 save, 62 2/3 innings, 59 hits, 43 strikeouts, a 1.40 ERA plus. I mean, he's a middle reliever, but let's see what happens here. All of that is good for a 0.4. 0.4, and there is a pullover jersey. I'm giving it to myself because we already did that. So that'll be a 0.5. I doubt there's much pop culture when it comes to Fred Williams. Wow. After baseball, suffered various misfortunes, including a serious car accident, the breakup of his marriage, and the death of his twin brother.
Ouch.
Became addicted to alcohol and eventually became homeless before dying in 2009 from a heart attack.
That's horrible.
Wow, that's sad. I don't think we've ever talked about him, and maybe there's a reason. Born in Kirkland, Washington, attended Shoreline Community College and then Lewis and Clark State. Also took a part in tough man boxing competitions in the offseason. Something you don't really see happen much anymore.
No,
with baseball players.
Not really.
No. All right, so you're up 3-1 now. Give me a number.
Number, we're going to go with 11.
All right.
This goes to 11, my friend.
All right. Well, we've talked about this guy before. 1989, member of the Six Pack. It's Rance Mullinix.
There you go.
Did we look? Is he the only player to ever be named Rance
I don't
in
know
big
if we
leagues?
looked it up.
That was his middle name, Steven Rance Mullinix. But 16 years in the big leagues, 11 with the Blue Jays, 3 with California, 2 with the Royals. We are looking at the 1989 version of him here with Toronto. Age 33, 103 games, 238 average, 320 on base, 3 home runs, 29 RBI, and 87 OPS plus. And that is good for a WAR of .1. If you know anything about Rance, you know he's got glasses and he's got a mustache, and I dare say it's a good mustache.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I'll give you 0.3 of a point there. So that'll bring you up to .4 for Rance Mullinix. Does he get pop culture for being a part of the Six Pack, maybe?
Boy, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we've had Brad Beluchin, the author of the Six Pack, on twice. I think we got to give it to him.
I think if we consider ourselves any point of pop culture ourselves, which we don't.
Well, connoisseurs of.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Well,
I think you're right.
How about this? We'll give him half and round up like you did for me with the Valenzuela jacket.
Fair enough.
All right, so I'll give you 0.3 on that one. And then looking at, there's not going to be anything pop culture related. He was part of the Dream Team. He was the utility 84 Sports Illustrated Dream Team.
Nice.
Right. All right, so you're at 0.7 with that card. And for me, give me another number.
Let's go with 13.
All right. Well, I have got a 1989 Neil Allen with the New York Yankees, a pitcher.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, bad news for me. 89 was his last season. He was 31. It was with Cleveland. 0-1 record, only 3 games, a 15 ERA. I'm not going to go through those numbers. And that will be a WAR of minus 0.3. Let's see, he's got real stirrups on, so that'll only be a minus 0.2. I don't think it's going to really matter at this point, but... Oh, he was traded by the Mets to the Cardinals for Keith Hernandez.
Wow.
He was traded with Rick Owenby for a National League MVP. That's it. Say the Cardinals got fleeced there.
I think so.
He was also traded for Ron Hassey at one point. I don't see myself winning this round.
Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah, after his career, but that hurt. All right, you're up 4-1, so you need one more to win this. So go ahead and give me a number.
1.
All right, 87 Carmen Castillo.
Carmen Castillo of the Cleveland baseball team.
Not Carmelo Castillo, who's my guy. But let's see, 1987. First of all, 10 years in the big leagues, 7 with Cleveland, 3 with Minnesota, 87 with Cleveland, 89 games. As a utility outfielder, he hit 250, 296 on base, 11 home runs, 31 RBI, a 101 OPS plus, and that is good for a WAR of 0.3. He's got a mustache on here, like he's wearing it. He also, this is during BP. He's got a batting helmet on with no ear flaps. So I'm going to give that to you as well, even though it's BP.
That's cool.
So that'll be a 0.5 before we look at any pop culture references, which you never know. Well, I feel pretty safe in saying I know he's...
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Yeah, so nothing else there, but it's Carmen Castillo. I like this card. It's a pretty good looking card. He's got the pullover BP jersey, the mesh thing. He's got like I said, the batting helmet with no ear flaps. He's got the Franklin solid colored batting gloves. His wrists are taped. He's got some buff arms. This is a good look. This is in California. My superpower, I can tell that's in the big A in the background. I like that. That's a good card. But it's only going to get you 0.5. Let's see if I can beat it. We're running out of cards here.
We'll go for the other extreme. Let's go for 18.
That is good. Oh. Well, I think I've won this round. It's Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley.
Oh, yeah, this is a gimme.
Let's see, 1991. 1 year short from his Cy Young MVP campaign. But still, 91, he went 5-4, 2.96 ERA, appeared in 67 games, 43 saves, 76 innings pitched, 60 hits, 87 strikeouts, 9 walks. Jeez, that's just badass. That is a ERA plus of 130, which is impressive. 130. He was an all-star this year, too. But his year prior, so not his Cy Young MVP year, but in 1990, he went 4-2, 48 saves, a 0.61 ERA in 63 games, 73 innings pitched, 41 hits given up, 73 strikeouts, and 4 walks. That is an ERA plus of 603. That is just, that could be the best season, not by a closer, but by a reliever in the history of baseball.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
That is just incredible. Overall, only a WAR of 1.5 for this year. I mean, he's a closer, but he's a Hall of Famer, so that's 2.5. The mustache, the mullet. I mean, it's a win.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. And, if you want me to talk about Dennis Eckersley, I'll talk about him all day. We just need to do an episode on him because, I mean, the ups and downs. Both he and Dave Stewart, the ups and downs of their career until they got to Oakland, and really then became, the great players that they were. But we'll save that for another episode. All right, so Ford, I need a number for you.
5. All
right, this is a 1988 Darrell Evans.
Evans could hit the ball.
Yeah, so 21 years in the big leagues for Howdy Doody. If somebody called him Howdy Doody today, how many people know? I mean, that was way before our time, but we still knew who it was. I don't know that this is culturally, is that a thing that millennials know who Howdy Doody is? I don't know. Let's see, 21 years in the big leagues, 9 with Atlanta, 8 with the Giants, 5 with the Tigers. That's weird. I think of him as a Tiger, but I guess that's because I only saw him late in his career when he was with the Tigers. But 1988, at the age of 41, he played in 144 games.
Wow.
That's a lot. Overall, he hit 208, 337 on base, 22 home runs still, 64 RBI, and a 105 OPS plus. And that is good for a WAR of 0.9. Nothing on this card is going to help you out, though. It's just a head and shoulders shot. Overall, let's see, a 2-time All-Star and then won a World Series in 1984 with the Tigers. Let's see, did not play well in that World Series. Wow, he hit 0.67 in that World Series. 1 for 15. He got a ring, though.
That's true.
Oh, he was traded for Craig Robinson. Wow, so he could have been on The Office at one point if he would have played his cards right, I guess.
I guess so.
Let's see, pop culture. I don't know that he lends himself to much pop culture. He seemed like he kind of kept to himself, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, but wait a minute. No, this isn't pop culture, but it's interesting. He and his wife saw a UFO from a porch of their home in Pleasanton, California in 1984.
Interesting. I'm looking right below that where it says in the mid-2000s, worked as a consultant in the development of Ultimate Baseball Online multiplayer online game. Never heard of it, but...
No.
Oh, it's from Cal Ripken's Real Baseball. I do know that. All right, so you're going to have a 0.9. I need one more card from you here.
Let's go with 8.
All right, this is going to be a 1988 Don Baylor. I'll bet there's some hit by pitches going on here.
I would guess.
Now, good news for me, he is got a batting helmet with no ear flaps on here.
Well, that's a good start for you.
So, yeah, that'll help me out right there. Let's see, 1988. That was his final year with the A's. Only year with the A's. 19 years in the big league. California for 6, Baltimore for 6, Yankees for 3, Boston and Oakland for 2. Oh, in 1976, he also played with the A's. I don't know why I was unaware of that. And then Minnesota for 1. 1988, 92 games. He was just the DH. 220, 332 on base, 7 home runs, 34 RBI, 88 OPS plus, and a WAR of minus 0.3. Well, gall darn it, that doesn't help me a whole heck of a lot.
That doesn't seem to be what you were looking for.
Now, didn't he broke his leg doing something as a coach, didn't he, later in his career? Here it is. Broke his right femur while catching a ceremonial first pitch in 2014, thrown by Vladimir Guerrero. Wow, he's been all over our podcast here.
Wow. Okay. I'll just believe it. I don't need to look into it.
Hitting coach for the Rockies, replaced by Carney Lansford, a guy. Of course, unfortunately passed away 2017.
Yes.
But nothing's going to help me there. He's got a mustache as well, but that it doesn't matter. That's gonna go in the win column for you again.
Well, what do you know?
Not much, but I do know that is going to wrap up this version of Wax Packs Heroes. Thank you once again to Marshall for that. Let's just take a quick peek at the other cards that we didn't get to. Let's see, we've got a Larry Walker.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a great card, too. That's a 1991 Larry Walker. It's in spring training with the Expos. He's got that great helmet on, the great uniforms. That's a really good card. I like that. Let's see, we've got an 88 Nolan Ryan. There it is.
Oy.
Do you think one of these other two cards that we haven't looked at is a Ricky Henderson?
Could be, and we missed them both.
Yeah, let's see. An 89 Cal Ripken Jr.
Ouch, wow.
And then an 89 Upper Deck Greg Swindell. So I'm a little cheesed off here. Why is there Nolan Ryan in here, which you know is going to automatically give Mark a win had we pulled it, and no Ricky Henderson?
No, you can't complain.
Well, no, I am. I'm cheesed off. I just told you.
No, I'm sure it was random.
Yes, I'm sure. But Marshall, thank you very much. That was really cool. We need to work out some kinks in the way that we do this so that we can get through it a little quicker. But this is a great idea. Hopefully we can figure out a way to put this up somewhere so that other listeners can do this as well. And we can get some packs this way. But Mark, congratulations. That's 3-1. Thank you again, Marshall, for that. Let's go ahead and wrap up the show. This is show number 250. If you've listened to all of these, we think you're a little crazy, but we really do appreciate it. Thank you for listening. And if you want more of us, you can find us on the social medias. We are at Two Strike Noise. That is at TWO Strike Noise. All the links will be in the show notes, as well as our email address that Mark's going to tell you about.
You can write to us, kids, at Two Strike Noise. It took me a second to think of it. twostrikenoise@gmail.com.
We've only done it 250 times.
Right.
So.
And then I paused on it right there. Jeez.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We will see you again next week on the next episode of Two Strike Noise.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day.